My lord, Polarian, or whatever your title is as a war wizard, I'm about to disappear as well, I expect. But don't let this make you think that you're out of our deal.
Oh, no. Insult me not, Hammer of Tempest. A war wizard's word is his bond.
Indeed.
Most of the time.
I take one last scan around the room, have a look at the paintings. I admire the one that displays the battlefield.
Mm-hmm. Did you want to read what was on the parchment or anything?
I think I shall. I'll pick it up.
There are 4 pieces of parchment, and they all seem to have handwriting scrawled all over them, almost certainly with the ink and quills that are there on the table.
Is the handwriting different on all 4?
Well, partially. There are 2 fists visible to your eye.
Well, that's reassuring. It ensures that there was only 2 people signing documents.
Mm-hmm.
And what do the documents entail?
So the first piece of parchment says South Barley Fields, and then underneath it says thrice the 1,000? ? And then underneath that it says, or escalating rent? ?
I squint, not really understanding the ins and outs and vagaries of property management, roll it up and slip it in a scroll case at my side. Anything on the others?
Sure. Second piece, again, handwritten note, scrawled, Zashandra, comma, 6th door along. And then underneath, it says in block capitals, very good.
I raise my eyebrows at that one.
And then in another hand, another fist underneath it, it says, with thrown daggers especially. And then there's a last line, expert with the new Sembian locks. And Sembian is, of course, capitalized.
I scowl at the word Sembian, just because I know them for being money grabbers who will squeeze a poor man to death if it means getting a couple more coppers. And slip that scroll away as well.
Mm-hmm.
Anything further?
Yeah, there are 2 other pieces of parchment. And the third one says, I've always preferred diamonds myself.
Another one to scowl at. Walk in our greed. Screw that one up, stuff it in my pocket.
Okay. And then that leaves just 1 piece of parchment.
And what does the last one say?
Courtiers opposed. Period. Proceed covertly? ? Inducements? ?
Courtiers opposed. Well, if someone's been opposed to this deal of theirs, it would certainly give cause for execution. Again, Sembians have been known to dispatch assassins when Cormyrians don't play their money games. But still. Still, I'll take it with me and show my companions. Half tempted to show the war wizard, just to see whether he recognises the name of Zashandra, but I have a feeling it may be in reference to a courtesan, and if that's the case, I want to keep her to myself. For now, I'm going to keep her to myself. I will make my way over to the painting of the battlefield. Any recognisable warriors there, just to make me at ease before I go a-travelling through some kind of portal?
There's no one you recognize. You recognize the type, because the painter knew his place, or rather knew his patrons. In the background are common soldiers, clad in motley armor, and they're sort of faded and faint. They're painted, but they're very drab. Obviously the background. And in the foreground are nobles, and the nobles have chased and curlicute armor, codpieces looking like the prows of little sailing ships, shoulder horns and spikes, and ornate helms with ostrich feather plumes and beaky noses and mock dragon faces and stuff like that. Some of them, of course, pushed back to allow the sun and the air to get at their handsome features. Some of them have rouged cheeks and generally look noble fancy pants.
Forgetting that there's no one in the room with me, I'm looking at that painting. I remember seeing a man riding into battle in a suit of armour like that before. Of course, it was black and the spikes were more like spines. Thinking he was some kind of bay knight. Remember, he got caught in a tree. Far too many hooks and horns on his shoulder blades. His rival just went up to the dangling knight and skewered him in the face. And good job, too. Adorn yourself like that, and then I look around and realise no one's listening to me, or indeed here, except for a headless corpse. I shrug, go over to the suit of armour, give it a few taps.
Boop. Suddenly, the unicorn chamber is empty. And there's no one there to see Polarian look in and say, "Took them long enough." You all find yourselves in the same room. This 50-foot square room seems to be quarried out of solid granite. You can see veins in the stone, tool marks on the ceiling and high up the walls, and so on. It was carved long ago, has a smooth, level floor, and ceiling 20 feet apart, closed stone doors in the center of each of its 4 walls. All of the doors sport a different symbol, graven deeply and prominently 2/3 of the way up them, and is dominated by a big, and big as in 12 feet across or so, smooth cylindrical central pillar. It feels like you're underground. There's a cool, damp, mineral smell, and no windows. The room is lit by a faint, steady, amber glow emanating from all over the ceiling.
So, I blink and I look around, and do I see the other 2?
Yes, you do indeed see your 2 companions, looking none the worse for wear. There are 4 identical doors, except they are not identical because each one has a different symbol graven on it, 2/3 of the way up the door.
I say aloud, "This is extremely unusual. Something is telling me this is not escape route, but some sort of... I go to one of the doors. Let's say I pick one at random. And I just go to it and just look at it very carefully and look at that symbol on the door. I don't touch anything.
It has a star. A 4-pointed star with the 4 rays corresponding to the compass points. A star on the door. The north and south rays are twice as long as the east and west rays. So you're looking at a closed door with a star on it, a simple star.
Do the other doors bear symbols like this?
I'm definitely checking out the doors.
To the right, like if you're standing in front of the star door and you look to your right, that door, sort of over there, in the other wall, has a diamond on it, with the long axis of the diamond vertical. And if you walk around the pillar, placing your back to the star door and facing the door now in front of you, it has a dagger, stylized point-down dagger, graven on it. So imagine a stiletto drawn with straight lines. Okay? And then the 4th and last door, if you move around, has a shield on it. And this shield is just an outline of a heater-shaped shield. So it's flat across the top, symmetrical curves down both sides to a point at the bottom.
That's exactly what I just drew.
And there is a foot-long vertical cylinder handle on each door that stands proud of the door down its right edge. And so imagine of the stone door, closed stone door, there are 2 metal bars that jut out of the door and clasp a cylinder, a vertical cylinder. In other words, a really meaty door handle. And you can't see any locks anywhere.
Lash, are you okay?
Thank you. I'm all right. I'm all right. Are you okay? Hello.
Yes.
Hey, that was a thing. But now that you're all here, the fun begins, yes? So I'm going to cast Pass Without a Trace on each of us.
Are you all accepting this willingly?
Yes.
Yeah, I have no aversion to being hunted. However, I can see the prudence of this spell.
Don't want anyone to lose their head. So, all right.
Also, I will then very quickly relay all the information we got from the dear ghost to Lash.
Yeah, sorry to disappear so quickly. I didn't expect that.
We didn't either, and neither did any of the individuals in the room. This is all starting to seem either, number one, completely coincidental, or number two, not coincidental at all.
So, what did I miss? What else was in the room? What was on those parchments?
I turn over the pieces of parchment to you. Mostly sort of shopping bills of sale, land, deeds. You can read them for yourself. I'm sure there's something of wisdom there, but nothing that immediately points to a perpetrator.
No, but, might give us directions.
So, when trapped in a room such as this, I have a common strategy, but knowing that I'm outnumbered by priests of the goddess of luck, I wonder what kind of ordination do you conduct to determine which door to pass through?
Well, I could always do an augury. Might at least give us a little basic information on which door is safe, maybe.
See, my preference is to open the door to determine which door is safe, but...
My friend, have you never had to dodge a scything blade or a...
Yes, and very few times has my blood rushed so well.
I think, as she keeps saying, and just pointing to the parchments,
Hmm.
I think we could do that, but I think maybe it's just right here. I do love shiny things. And she stands and walks over to the diamond-shaped symbol door.
Ah, yes, I see. Maybe a clue in the parchment. Diamonds, diamond shapes.
Are you all really good at
it?
investigating?
No.
Well, I can give it a go, but yes, I do like your thinking, Lash. Clever. Right, wait.
Don't want it to be trapped, locked, magicked, shielded, warded, the fun things.
Well, I can, of course, remove an enchantment, but we need to know there's an enchantment first. But let's just have a little look. As I examine the door, though, I have a feeling all I'm going to see is a very nice stone door with those handles. There's no other evidence of anything else, is there, really? Just on a cursory examination.
Nothing else that you can see. You've just seen so far.
If we're to take the coward's way, I will channel the divine will of Tempest to banish any spell that might be on this door, but I think that we are in safe hands. There's 3 of us and 1 door. I like those odds.
Well, just to make it a little safer, I have one suggestion. I reach into my pack, I take out some of the rope I have, and the iron hook that I also have. I quickly tie them together, just in case the door handle itself is the cause of the discomfort.
Ogre's teeth.
Now, it's always good to be prepared in life. You can't leave everything to luck.
I refuse to argue with a door.
You'd be surprised.
Now, my dear Lash, would you wish for the honours of the door pull, or shall I?
I've already had one trip. Your turn.
That is a good point. I shall take the risk this time. I will attach the hook to the handle
Of the diamond
door.
door. And?
Seeing my body not be immediately vaporized, I will attempt to pull with the rope on the door.
And the door easily, soundlessly, swings open, almost as if it's counterweighted, and it's certainly not locked or latched. It just silently opens, leaving you staring at a room choked with thick gray-white, gray dust-furred cobwebs, a chaos of intertwined webbing that blocks all view of the room itself and what lies within it.
Well, Tashram, surely Timora was smiling on you this day to allow you to open a door without issue. I can only wonder at how many times you had to practice this before opening a door went well. But I do feel that looking at this cobweb-strewn room ahead of us, that if this is the way our escapee lord or his kidnapper or the decapitator or whomever went, there would be a trail cut through this webbing.
I would agree. I attempt to close the door.
By pushing on it? Are you going to use the hook to push it shut?
Yes.
Use the hook to push it shut. It is now shut. Are you unhooking from the door, or are you just leaving it there?
I unhook the hook from the handle, to which I then say to... I say to Braligar, well, Braligar, if you're so sure of yourself and the doors, then why don't you try the next one yourself?
Fine, I will trust in my good luck to be able to open a door without it exploding in my face. I walk over to the dagger door, clasp the handle firmly in my gloved hand, and give it a pull.
Okay, it opens. Again, it is not locked or latched. It's probably counterweighted. It opens smoothly and silently. And then you hear clack, clack, clack. Could I have a D20 roll, please?
Of course you may.
Lash is just, she's now leaning against the wall with one foot against it, arms crossed, just enjoying what this show might be.
I get an 8.
And your dexterity is, Braligar?
No, my dexterity is an 18.
Being an experienced priest of Tempest, a man of action, used to battle, and used to fleeing at top speed, you fling yourself at the floor just as 12 crossbow bolts at once go out of the dark door and whack into the pillar behind you. Crack, 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 shattering, most of them shatter. And all of them ricochet in all directions.
You were saying, sir?
Bishaba preserves me again. Clearly, while bad luck laughs in my face, Timora plucks me from the den of iniquity that is my doom.
To be honest, Lash, I cannot disagree. Timora clearly does favour him. I'm starting to feel, by the way, that this place is very dangerous.
Well, Lash, I think the next door is yours.
Now, by the way, Braligar, you do notice that there is a large wooden frame standing just inside the door, and it seems to be secured to the door frame with a thick grid netting of intertwined stout hempen ropes. It looks like you'll have to cut them to move the frame, and the frame, of course, had 12 crossbows mounted on it at various heights. They've all fired, and luckily for you, it doesn't look like they're multiple firing or reloading or anything like that. It looks like they're just simply crossbows that fire once and that's it, until somebody manually resets them. And you don't see any person or movement or anything else, so it looks like it's just a frame.
Well, if someone was so keen to erect a stone door before a simple trap, perhaps there's something behind it. So I unhook the rope, and I smash through the wooden frame with my hammer.
Your hammer crashes into the frame, and from the back of the frame, what can only be described as a pseudopod swings around and bashes you a good solid one in the face.
Ah!
And sticks to your face. -9 hit points.
What's that? What's that? Tempest night? What? I can't. Something on your chin there. I can't quite hear it. What? Try again. What did you say? I can't hear him.
The pseudopod seems to be thickening and widening and shortening as the creature sort of leans forwards through the gaps in the frame and tries to spread its pseudopod entirely around the face and head of Braligar. It's up to his ears now, and it's beginning to pull individual hairs out as it sticks.
I'm going to draw my morning star, cast upon it the flames of Flame Blade, igniting it, as I then charge forwards to kind of move to the side of poor Barnagar and, like, whack this beast.
What the fuck are you doing?
I'm trying to get it off you, man!
Can I have a D20 roll for that attack? And yes, and then please, Lashandra, tell him.
Lash is going to go, oh, that's enough. And I'm going to cast Speak with Animals and say, drop it.
So I rolled a 6.
Okay, entirely missing the critter, you have set one of the ropes to smoking because your Morning Star got caught on the rope as it swung past to the floor, and you are the Speak with Animals. This voice says, "No, come closer, and I'll get you all."
Oh, well, that's not nice.
I've never been known for being nice. I'm just known for being hungry.
At this, I'm going to use my fingers, drop the hammer against my better judgment. There's no point swinging a hammer into my own face. So I will use my fingers to try and grip around the edges of the pseudopod and yank it off. I'm a strong man. I may have a better grip than it has on me.
Could I have a D20 roll, please?
That's a bit nicer. 19.
The wooden frame, breaks in two places and falls away from what now stands revealed as some sort of amorphous creature that is turning from what looks like a duplicate of the frame into what looks like Lash. A duplicate of Lash. And you have got your hands like claws into the edge of this, trying to pull it back so it leaves you a little space to breathe through before it does you. And it obviously has a sense of humor because it grows another pseudopod, draws back like a pile driver, and gives you one in the codpiece.
Tempest Hammer!
And because your codpiece is well-filled and properly padded around the edges to avoid chafing on long horse rides, you take only 2 points of damage, the sort of concussion ricochet inside the codpiece type damage, and the codpiece does not dent or crush in, and this thing goes, "Oh!"
It doesn't stop me from buckling. In fact, because I weathered the blow, I'll take that like a warrior priest of Tempest should, with a little bit of a groinal thrust and say, "Is that the best you've got?" And I'll swing at the doppelganger-like creature.
Okay. I need 2 D20 rolls, one for your swing and one for your groinal thrust.
I always wanted to roll for groinal thrust.
I do slightly better with the groinal thrust. The groinal thrust, I get a 16. The swing of my gloved fist gets a 12.
Okay, both of them hit.
Ha-ha!
It adheres to your groinal thrust.
Who wouldn't?
Because that plays into its hand. Into its pseudopods. Because it wishes to be closer to you. It wishes to be all over you. It wishes like it's stuck on you. And pretty soon it'll be so into you. Now, as for the other blow, you do indeed strike it, so roll for damage.
Okay. It's effectively an unarmed strike, but let's see. Okay, I think that classifies as 4 hit points of damage. So I swing my right fist in a hook, try and catch what approximates for this creature's face, just across the jaw, if indeed it has one, with a firm smack.
Well, it is growing a jaw that looks like Lash.
I take no pleasure in striking it.
But you whack the jaw with a meaty smack and stick to it.
Ah!
How much like me is it? Is it like color and everything, or is it just a shape, or is it really starting to become what I look like?
It's already your shape. And by that I mean clothed shape, so it's the bulk of you, clad as you are now. And as each moment passes, it is shifting from this sort of brown wood frame look with wood grain more and more to be a likeness of you. It's not yet a good likeness of you, but it's heading that way.
What now is actually in the doorway? Like, was this creature the wooden frame that had the crossbow bolts attached to it?
No, it was stuck to the back of the wooden frame. And the wooden frame is, well, one of the ropes is smoldering. The frame's broken in 2 or 3 places. And the frame is sort of sagging to one side because Bralagar's been fighting through it with this thing, which has been at every blow trying to stick to him, so it's surging through the holes in the frame to sort of plaster itself all over him. Like plasticine or bread dough.
I shall raise my holy symbol towards this creature, looking very annoyed at it, and cast a spell of command, the command being release.
And that is what the creature does. It chortles at you in a musical fashion. And doesn't do anything of the sort.
Try setting it on fire again. I'm all right.
Grumpy Puss, have you seen any people come through here? Maybe even carrying a body without a head? And which way did they go?
You're talking to it?
Oh, you can understand me.
That was what are you talking about, lady? Negative.
Really? Really? So no one, just us? Who was the last person you saw besides me?
The guy who reloaded the crossbow. After the last time.
Do you know his name?
I don't know the names of humans. I'm a simple, eating all humans mimic.
And right now he's eating me, Lash.
And I don't particularly wish to, because you taste of holiness, and holiness tastes terrible. So, if you would agree to just cease all hostilities and close the door...
Sure.
It's fine, totally
Cease
fine.
all... Yes, we can do that. Just let my friend go. We have some business. Won't concern you at all. And maybe we can...
Can I trust you? You're humans, after all.
I'm human, but I'm holy, so I'm nasty tasting, and that means I'm honest.
Humans don't know what honest is.
I assure you, the man you're trying to eat is very honorable indeed.
Yeah, he must taste terrible.
Honorable tastes terrible. I like that. What I've tasted of him so far tastes of sweat.
Musk.
Well, that too. We haven't gotten down to the full musk treatment yet. I was avoiding that.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I can understand.
Mm-hmm.
But that would be lovely. We really didn't mean to bother you. We were trying to find which way these people have gone. We're a little bit lost. I've never been here before. And nice to meet you. Really, I guess, if you let him go.
Yes, it's been, sticky, hasn't it?
This is a sticky situation.
Reminds me of a time I spent in Kalimshan.
Oh God, he's going to tell a story.
Do it again. Yeah, cover his mouth. Cover his mouth.
My dear being, truly, we would love you to just put him down.
He's asking you to put him down.
Can I have your assurance you will not attack me further?
Yeah, I promise. I promise we will not attack. I promise none of us will attack. And I'm looking at the two of them like, with pointed fingers.
I need the assurance of the one I'm stuck to.
Brelagar, don't attack him. He's going to let you go. Don't attack, right? Okay? Do you understand me?
Ask him to swear on Tempest's
Swear on
name.
Tempest, you won't attack him when he lets you go.
You expect me to swear on the name of the god of war that I will not attack this creature
well, it's
trying
that,
to eat
or he'll
me?
eat you, and we won't stop him. So
I think we're winning.
that would be a bad choice of a bet. A bad.
Fine, it is not so beyond me to swear on the delightful, babbling goddess Eldath that I will leave this battlefield in peace if this homuncular thing agrees that I won.
Swear by Tempest, or I'll eat your nose. A man looks funny without a nose.
You're right. He's right.
I once knew a man without a nose.
Or I could eat something else.
Fine. In the name of Tempest, I yield this battle.
Very good.
And I will not raise my hammer to you again.
And the response is... It peels off and backs away.
My skin feels smoother somehow.
I very gently go to push the door closed.
Total depilatory. You've never had skin this smooth since you had a baby's bottom. It is velvet smooth, and the door is closed. And the last thing you hear is, "Thank you, come again."
Thank you so much. Have a nice age.
Let's go.
Go.
I am deeply ashamed.
My dear Lash, that was genius, absolute genius. But Belagar, do you require some medical aid? Are you all right?
Says the man who tried to set me on fire.
I was trying to set it on fire, not you. It was eating your face, man. What was I supposed to do? Write a poem?
The bloody nose that creature gave me when it swung its half a fist is a reminder. A reminder to me that stout priests of Tempest do not just go blindly charging in. There is still something to be said for strategy, so I have learned my lesson.
But you look fantastic.
Well, I consider it a battle scar.
Well, star or shield? What do you think?
Oh dear. Maybe it's staff, or maybe the shield will be something very armored. Because that was daggers, although it was crossbows. Oh goodness me. Who makes these things?
Let's go for the star. It reminds me of a priestess of Mistra I once knew.
The one with a beauty mark.
They did. Yes, she made me see stars, all right. Took my purse as well.
I'm going to go to the star door. Look, smell, jiggled. Is it locked? Does it look like there have been footprints, or it's been disturbed lately?
It doesn't look like there's dust or disturbance or anything recent outside any of these doors. It's almost as if they've been swept clean before your arrival.
Ah, good. Who would do something like that? And that pillar in the middle is just a pillar?
It looks like a 12-foot across, smooth stone pillar, firmly holding the ceiling up and extending so far down that it cunningly reaches the floor. It looks very solid. Yes.
My dear Lash, perhaps as a precaution when you open this door, be ready to jump aside.
I'm going to borrow his hook. I'm going to go to the far side of the door. Watch your toes, gents, and I'm going to hook the handle and then pull it so that I'm behind the door. So anything that's hopping out will not be... I'll be between the door and it.
Okay, the door swings open with you behind it. And the rest of you, the other two valiant holy servants, see that there's a dark, probably 20 by 20 foot room or stone cell. Seems to be stone lined. You can't see too much of it because standing in the room are three big silent men, you presume men, in rusty, massive suits of full coat of plate armor, clutching massive metal swords, and as the door swings open, the foremost man lurches forward to fill the doorway and prevent the door being slammed again. Then they're striding clank, clank, out into the room with you, not saying a word.
Hello. We're really hoping you can help us, but aren't going to try it. I don't know, be unpleasant.
They look slow. There's a pillar in the middle of the room. We can make a circle, lure them around, then dive through their door.
There is one of the figures. They're all holding swords. One of them raises its empty left hand, and you see a blue glow outline all the fingers of its gauntlet. And then the air is suddenly full of daggers. Daggers whizzing everywhere. Could I have a D20 roll from all three of you?
That's a 5.
I rolled 6.
I got a natural 20.
Well, now, I am going to rule, being a kind and merciful dungeon master, that Bralagar's natural 20 allows Bralagar to, before the daggers reach him, cast any spell he has ready that he wishes to cast. So, Bralagar, is there anything you'd like to cast at this time that, might save your asses? I mean,
Yeah. I heft my hammer aloft, it being not only a weapon but also my holy symbol.
Mm-hmm.
And incant. Tempest cancel these foul and cowardly magics and dispel whatever magic is animating these suits of armor. And hopefully, as it's a radius effect, these flying magical daggers.
And there's your hammer flashes with the red blood of Tempest. And all of those daggers in midair become red points of light that then fade and fall away. So there are no more daggers. And these 3 armored assailants stop and stare at you impassively. And then, in slow unison, they all raise their swords to point at you. And then they begin clank, clank.
Now we run.
Where?
Out through the door that they just came in.
You're just going to run around the pillar and in the door?
Did we see any other doors in the room from which they originated?
Nope. You didn't have much of a chance to look.
That is true. They did obstruct the doorway. So the only other option is either to reopen the diamond door and go through the cobwebs, or try the shield door. And right now, I think the shield door is more appealing. So Bralagar will once again, without thinking, without pausing, grab the door handle of the shield door and yank it open and shout, while clenching his eyes shut, "Tempest preserve me!"
Like that'll happen, says this skull as it flies out, and it looks like a hobgoblin skull, and it's got therefore fangs, and those fangs are trying to take a bite out of your face. Oh, and you duck away because you are a debonair and agile priest of the war god, but you find yourself looking at the other 8 skulls flying out behind it, going, "Get him, get him! Oh, look! Meat, fresh meat!" And there are still clank, clank from behind you.
Well, wait. In the few seconds I have seeing these floating skull things,
Yes.
does that seem magical in nature?
Well, yeah, skulls don't normally fly around by themselves without.
I will cast my own dispel magic at the swarm of skulls, screaming, "Seriously? Be gone, floating skulls of unpleasantness."
And you hear this, "Oh, you spoiler!" as they plunge toward the floor, and one of them shatters, and the others just bounce and roll, and the jawbones fall off, and they sort of stare at you accusingly, and then the lights in their eyes go up.
And as soon as that happens, I use my movement to sort of lash, Berger, shield door, through the door, as I make my way through.
So you're not standing around to have these figures in armor stick their swords through you from behind.
Funnily enough, no.
Okay. Lash, are you, executing a similar relocation?
Yes, that would be Cobb's retreat. Yes, going. Cobb's traverse, going.
To the shield door and through it.
I'm in between the star door and the shield door, right? So I'm in the northwest quadrant of the room. So if there are any sword dudes near me, I'm going to try to take a swipe at one with a mace as I run.
No, you're on the far side of the pillar. The sword dudes are all looking like a Napoleonic officer in charge mode. You know, they're all holding their sword out in front of them, and they're aiming the swords at Bralagar, and they're just moving forward, making a arm bar of their rigid arms, so it looks like 3 spears converging on Bralagar, ignoring everybody else. So no, you're around the pillar from them.
Bralagar, as I'm running, Bralagar, you need help? You okay over there? You need backup?
Ah, no, make your way through the door. I'll catch up.
Bralagar, I have a plan that involves them being in the doorway, following you, so just maybe
Hotfoot.
Slowly back away.
Yes, sounds fantastic. Wonderful plan.
And I'll go through that door. But what's in that room? What's in that room?
You see a 20 by 20 stone cell. And
Shit.
in the ceiling is a rusty foot-square metal grating. And looking up, all you see is darkness. But you do feel a slight movement of air coming down through the grating.
Hoping you didn't forget my rope lash.
Oh, I've still got it. And I will get through. I'll hand it to you as I'm going through the door.
Rope and hook.
Yep. Pass off.
So, you're both in this room, and Bralagar is backing into the room with some elegant haste, and he's backing because the points of 3 swords are converging at his midsection.
As soon as the biggest one, or if they were all the same size, like I assume they will start coming through the door.
Mm-hmm.
And you did say earlier, one of them is very hulking.
Mm-hmm.
He's
in the lead.
I cast Hold Person.
Mm-hmm. So you do. And nothing happens. He just keeps coming.
Oh, why sometimes these spells...
It's not a person, you oaf.
It looks like a person. It's not...
Ah, so wet behind the ears, Timoran. No, I will deal with these. I'll show you how a Hammer of Tempest deals with an animated suit of armor. You make your way up into the ceiling. I'll roll back out towards their feet, swinging my hammer over and under, hopefully causing a distraction.
Oh yes, you distracted them all right. Their swords go from pointing at you to pointing at you down near the floor as you roll.
I'm swinging my hammer in a roughly circular motion, trying to cut my way or knock my way through their rusted shin guards and what would it be?
Are you
Greaves.
trying to pass through the doorway and out into the room with the pillar again?
Essentially, yes, because I think I could knock them over if I do that.
Could I have a D20 roll?
Yes. Goodbye, Tempest. I hope I roll well. Today is not that day. I roll a 3.
Well, you managed to knock aside the foremost sword point. The other 2 have at you.
Ah!
But this is a good day for Tempest. Blood is being shed.
Yes, it's just a shame it's mine.
Yes. So, minus 7 hit points. 3 from one sword thrust and 4 from another. Their swords go straight through your armor. With such force, it just literally bunches through the armor plate, and then they pull their swords out and inspect the bloody tips. Meaning, it's now a new round and you have a chance to do something. Well, you could bleed out, but you have a chance to do something else.
Yeah, that's not what I have in mind. I'm hoping that the other 2 will forge some kind of escape route.
Well,
No pressure.
I wait a few seconds and look to see what Lash is doing. I do say, maybe Lash, you should try and get out of here.
Teamwork, dear. And I'm going to look up and see if that is an escape route or if that's just the top of a cage where they're dropping down food or magics.
You can't tell. It looks like a room up there, or another dark room. It also looks out of your height, out of your reach, unless you climb on top of your fellow priest.
Well, do I see any kind of latches for you to make that even possible to look for? Like, are there hinges in this metal on the sides of the walls or anything?
There's a foot square hole in the stone ceiling. And it looks like there's a grating lying on top of it. Like a rusty, heavy metal grating on top of it. But you don't know if that grating is fastened down or just lying there.
I feel like we're in an oubliette, and I don't like it. I'm gonna try to Morningstar that closest sword opponent.
Aha! Roll a d20. And swing your mighty morning star.
Nope, that's a 7.
That's it, Lash! Embrace the spirit of battle! Ah!
Just like you!
Your morning star whistles through the air, and one of the nearest figure that you are aiming at calmly reaches up with its free-handed gauntlet, the empty gauntlet, and swats the head of the morning star sideways, just assisting your swing, so you are left hopping off balance and not actually smiting it at all. And then it draws back its sword and goes at you. And let's see if Transfixed Impaled Lachant is on the menu. But no!
Lady T, I'd like to keep serving you. I need a little help.
With the litheness and agility that you are famous for, you swing your hips to the left, and the sword just kisses your hip on its way by, doing no harm at all.
With a little jingle of my chainmail belt and coins, it just chimes.
Tink!
I shall charge forward to the third assailant trying to attack Marigar, casting my flaming weapon on my mace and swing at the legs of the armor.
Could I have a d20 roll, please?
And I'm going to try to back up and get away farther away from it if I can.
Okay.
Stop swinging near me! Again!
Yes, Bralagar's down there.
I'm attacking the third one, so... Young man.
Ooh.
Please, Timora, bless me. 9.
You swing with your mace, and the third one gives you a nice kick. As your swing misses, it gives you a nice kick in the back of the elbow to continue your swing with rather more force. So you end up stumbling forward across the room, away from the doorway, which would have brought you into a collision with Lash had she not backed away already. Because she got the same sort of treatment. She ended up, off balance, but she wisely, strategically withdrew, fled. No, backed away in a hurry. So that leaves just Bralagar down at the floor level, because he rolled at ankles, beneath, well, all three of them, but there's one of them that is right at the ankles up. The first one, the big one, the hulking one. The other two are sidestepping, as with the agility of any Hollywood dancer. They are sidestepping around the hulking one to fit into the room so that they can semi-surround Bralagar from three sides as the points of the sword sweep down. And what does Bralagar want to do in this moment of...
So the way I see it, or the way Bralagar sees it, I've got one last chance at appearing in the least bit like a heroic hammer of Tempest. And that means letting out a deafening roar as I pull up to my feet, swinging the hammer directly through as many of these suits of armor as I can, with all the strength my god allows me. For Tempest! Ah!
Could I have a D20 roll, please?
Come on, Timora, where's the damn luck when you need her? Ah, this is nicer. Another natural 20.
You swing, a mighty swing. You bend at the knees and then straighten up as you swing to put all of the momentum and force that you can muster behind the swing, which makes the central, foremost, and hulking armored assailant stumble back on his heels, struck across the visor of his helm as if you got him in the chin. His head snaps to one side, and he lets go of his sword with a clatter. Your swing continues into the one to his right, smashing into the side of his head. His head also snaps to the side, and he drops his sword on his way towards a collision with the wall, driven by your blade. You entirely miss the first one, which your swing went past, but he steps back in astonished respect, perhaps, or just regaining his balance, and draws back his blade for a mighty hack. However, the momentum of your swing already carries you out of his reach, allowing you to plant your feet and make a decision as to whether you're going to dart out the door, get behind one of these guys. Like, you're already behind the one that just crashed it face first into the wall. You can outflank the big hulking one, and the big hulking one is in the way of the one you missed completely getting at you. It has to come through the big hulking one to get at you.
In Tempest's name, 2 out of 3 is a victory on any battlefield. Through the door!
Okay, so you dart through the door, leaving your 2 friends in the room with 3. However, you now are behind them. Bralagar is now out in the room with the pillar, out the doorway, behind the 3.
Blanche goes, oh, it's Rounders. Okay. And she takes her maces, both maces out, and she tries to absolutely mailbox baseball the head of the nearest one that isn't down. The one that's the biggest threat.
Oh, or the hulking one is the biggest threat. Okay. And you roll twice.
That's a 12 and a natural 20.
Pow! Okay, so you smash its sword aside with your first blow, and your second blow gulfs its head off its shoulders up into the ceiling, and it reaches up involuntarily to try and grab its head that is no longer there. And then it staggers back on its heels, literally walking on its heels, as it staggers to turn to try and find its head, which means it is coming around to face Bralagar, who is outside the room and can see it clearly through the doorway. So he's no longer looking at its rear, he's looking at its front, but it has no head, and it's staggering.
Can I run past it out the door?
Sure.
Heck yeah.
You'll have to hip check it to get through.
Okay.
But okay, you gonna do that?
Yeah.
Okay, you hip check it. It crashes sideways into the third one, the one that missed entirely in Bralagar's mighty swing. So the two of them go crash face to face, and the one that is headless immediately begins beating on the one that isn't, and the one that isn't pushes it out of the way with its hand and sword, but of course that's keeping them busy. So, there is one more member of the party in the room with 3 large animated suits of armor. You do notice a slight glow down the back of the headless one, and you go, oh, Shield Guardian? Maybe? I don't know.
Ah, interesting. Well, for now, I'm going to run to join my friends, kick one of those skulls on the way, and try and grab the handle, but this time be pulling it from the other side to try and get that door closed from our end.
When you kick the skull, are you kicking it aside? Are you kicking it out into the room with the four of you? Or three of you,
I'm
rather?
kicking it aside.
Kicking it aside. Bing! Okay. It gets kicked aside and promptly trampled, crunch, by one of the suits of armor that's staggering around, and then you're out the door and swinging the door closed. You know the door has no lock. Not even a latch.
Tashram, Lashanta, I feel we only have two choices. We either go into the room that housed these animated shield, golem, whatever, or we dive through those cobwebs. And I'm fired up with the taste of battle, so I am very tempted by the cobwebs. Talk me down.
I feel like talking you down just a little, because that was extremely close.
Unpleasant.
Am I-
It was unpleasant.
I saw the way you heroically kicked that skull to the side. There's a tempest inside you yet.
Why, thank you, Barrelgar. I, for one, feel we should investigate the room. I feel we should investigate the room where the statues came from, because now that might be the least dangerous of rooms.
Come, let's go into the Shield Guardian's room then.
So you are going into the room that the three animated suits of armor came out of.
The Star
Yes.
Door room.
Star door room.
Yes. Okay. Yes, so you enter the Star Door room. It is a 20 by 20 stone cell. There is a foot square opening in the center of the ceiling with a rusty grating above it and darkness.
Right, well, I think they're all... I'm willing to make a bet that all the rooms are extremely similar. So I think we're going to have to try one of these grates. Once again, Lash, do you want to do the honors of trying to get the rope up there with the hook?
Are the rooms with that grate, the little door rooms, are they also glowing with the amber light? Are they illuminated at all?
No, they're illuminated by the light coming from the pillar room. They're dark.
I feel we must act with haste. I don't imagine those suits of armor are going to wait.
Quickly, I will wrap a rag in some oil and light it.
Your torch flares into light with a spark or two and a puff of smoke, and then it catches.
All right, Lady T.
And you look up at her just in time to see the door bash open, and these suits of armor go chung 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 out into the room. They've got one of them has its head back.
Oh, well, that's not fair.
They all have their swords in their hands, but they don't seem to have seen you yet, because you're over in another dark room, across, with a pillar in between you and them.
I quickly run to try and this time close this door from our side.
Mm-hmm.
Quietly.
It closes very quietly.
Got it.
So you're now in darkness. Darkness shrouded the night. And except for this, yes, the torch is flickering and flaring, and it's very campfire-like.
And there was no writing on that pillar. There was no anything on that pillar.
Nope.
Okay.
You couldn't see any seams, no catches.
Writing.
No
symbols.
Nothing. It looks solid.
Yeah.
It looked almost like somebody had actually carved it, a cylinder of solid rock.
What?
You know, I wonder if we crossed someone while we were herding that caravan with wool on it.
I have to admit, Barrelgar, this is all starting to seem very convenient that in our investigation of some murder, we found a secret death trap dungeon.
You have listened to an episode of Red Moon Roleplaying, where we played The Mystery of the Unicorn Chamber for Dungeons & Dragons and the Forgotten Realms. Our Dungeon Master was none other than the creator of the Forgotten Realms himself, Ed Greenwood, and we were also joined by the Gentleman Gamer Matthew Dawkins and Liisa Lee. The music was created by Ager Sonis and was used with permission from their label, Cryo Chamber. We also used music from Baldur's Gate 1 and Baldur's Gate 2 by Michael Honig, used with permission from Beamdog. If you aren't already playing the enhanced editions of these classic games, now is a great time to begin. We would also like to give massive thanks to our champions of the Red Moon, Martin Heuschober, Nastasia Raulerson, Simon Cooper, and David, for their generous support. And we'd of course also like to thank all of our other patrons. Without your support, the show would not be possible. If you want to support our work, please check us out on Patreon. You can get access to bonus campaigns for Cult Divinity Lost and Coriolis there, as well as get early and raw access to all of our recordings. You can also hear your name read on the show as a champion of the Red Moon, as well as play Cult with us. Most importantly, that support is what keeps the show going, so do check us out there. Thank you again for listening, and see you soon again.